Good evening, race fans. Welcome to a special event tonight here on SpeedZone TV. We'll be broadcasting the Racers Elite Bud Shootout tonight. These drivers are going to go down for an 80-lap battle. The Dash for Cash, the big crown, here at Daytona SuperSpeedway in the Gen 4 car. So looking like they have about 75% fuel, unlimited tire sets, one fast repair, and there's a 25 cap on incidents tonight with 3 green-white checkered attempts. Hoping we're not going to have to use any of those. I'm going to be your host tonight, Robert Warrens, alongside my co-host Chris Schusler. How's it going tonight, Chris?
Robert, hello. Good to be here, and nice to be here on behalf of William Ridgway. Nice to join you. I'm doing good tonight. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone stays buckled in and strapped in tonight for all the action that we're going to be bringing you at home. And, always looking for likes, subscribes on our stream. So if you get a chance to do that as you're watching, just please throw that. It just makes me feel good. The more likes, the more subscribes.
As they say, smush that like button.
Smoosh it. Smoosh it.
You know, Robert, I think they should have a 25-cent fee for incidents. What do you think? That probably raise a little extra money for the league.
Probably $5.
At least.
At least is right. So we got Lee Campbell has taken the pole tonight in the 60 machine in that Gen 4 car. These cars are a little bit different. They're supercharged ARCA cars with a big horsepower platform. So it's going to make a little bit different. We're also at Legacy Daytona as well. So you're not looking at the same smooth surface that you normally look at. On the outside of Campbell, we have Mark Mann in the 04 machine. 05 is Rick Sanchez. 26 machine is Andrew Teft. The 2 machine of Stephen Hines. That's going to round out our top 5 right now. We're about to head into turn 3 and get ready to take the green. Chris, what do you got any early premonitions here? Like, when are we going to see the first caution? We going to see green flag stops?
Early premonitions is tough, they're racing at old Daytona, so I don't know how much practice these guys put in at this track. They're used to probably the newer track, which is a lot smoother, so we could see some more incidents early on, maybe earlier than expected. So I don't know. I mean, patience pays at super speedway tracks, so I don't know. We'll just have to see how patient these guys are and just putting some laps under them. So yeah, predictions. I'm not sure. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say we see our first caution, lap 15 or less.
All right. Well, pace car's in. Watching that 60 car. Green flag is out. We got a good launch there from Campbell with the 05 machine. Sanchez pushing behind him. Fields 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 as far as you can see.
This race looks like it's starting later in the day, so they'll definitely go into the dark. Is that correct?
Yep, I think we're going to see that transition to nightfall, which is definitely going to add some characteristic to how the car handles in the corners.
That 05 is right on the bumper of 60 going into the turn, giving him a good push.
Yep, and in behind the 05, you got the 2 machine of Hines. And they've done a good job right there of just staying tight and creating a good little draft. And not really letting that outside line form up just yet. And just like that, Chris, you blink and we're already done a lap and there's been no problems.
Yeah, these guys are holding steady so far. It's a nice start. Good to see.
Well, their Xfinity Series was just at Talladega the other night, and they put on a heck of a show. And I'm expecting the same kind of caliber of racing here, just meow.
How many races deep is this season so far for them? How how well do these guys know each other, I guess, is what I'm asking. Do you know?
Well, the Racers Elite League actually has a bunch of series, and this is just a special one-time event.
Okay.
So I don't think that there's a points battle here. It's just about pride and bragging rights to all the fellow drivers.
You did mention that one fast repair. Hopefully, those guys can hang on to that deep into the race, just in case there's some carnage to come.
Yeah, of course. So I'm showing that there is 22 cars in the field, and 20 of them are all within 2 seconds of each other.
That's good racing.
Our new leader there, Rick Sanchez. You blink and you got a new leader. It looks like that was Rick was able to shuffle out into the lead as these guys are still in
What's good to
rows
see
of
too
two.
is I'm sorry, Robert. I was just going to say what's good to see so far is like no one's been left behind. They're all together. Everyone at this point still has a chance to stay in the pack and race hard. Oh, just as I say that, it looks like there is one driver out of the pack there.
Yep, we've got. I'm showing 2 of them that are a little bit further back, and that's. We'll take a look at them here, Chris. Now that you brought them up, is one the 55 machine of Truth Hoke in the Xfinity Series. He was our P2 finisher at Talladega, and then the other car that is trailing behind is that 65 machine of Brandon Zimmerman in that Cash App. So get your dollars in, Bounce
I
back up
wonder if
to the
they just got
leaders.
a bad start, or maybe a little bit of banging around caused them to fall behind.
Yeah, of course. Oh, we have a
Oh,
wreck there. No caution as of yet.
those guys are going to be in trouble without a caution.
See if we can grab that in just 1 second. Going like the 6 machine of Woodward is substantially off the pace here.
Yeah, that car looks messed up.
A lot of nose damage on Woodward there.
Oof.
Oof, right. Also showing 32 machine of Holloman off pace. Not seeing any damage on him. And also the 29 car of Daniels. Looks like he's got a little bit of nose damage.
Looked
Okay.
like Holloman's car was behaving a little funky.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with old Daytona too because it's bouncy.
That's true. That's true.
All right, we'll pop back up to our leaders. Since we don't have a caution right now, we'll try to stay tuned in on the action here. 05 of Sanchez on the bottom line with Campbell on the outside of him, and it looks like that outside line is going to be slightly ahead going into turn 1. The 04 machine, Mark Mann, he started up front as well, and the 34 machine, we haven't spoke about him. It's looking like it might be Honeycutt. My race monitor is showing him as the 13 car, so I'm probably going to get that confused 80 times tonight.
So Honeycutt is who?
The 34 car.
The 34 car, yeah. I'm sure we'll confuse that several times.
We also got Andrew Taft in the field as well. He ran Talladega the other night and was a strong contender, and just a little bit of an unfortunate race incident. He got caught up in the end, which didn't allow him to capitalize and seal the deal or be in the podium.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Taft coordinates all of these races in this league, correct?
He is one of the administrators. That is correct. Wouldn't mind me some Crown Royal right now. Fine.
Yeah, I hear you.
Little sauce,
Yeah.
Little wobble from Sanchez as he came out of 4 there. And still, majority of these cars are within 2 seconds. All 17 cars you can see on the screen there within 2 seconds of each other. And just about anything can happen right now. We've ticked down 9 laps. Or we're on our 9th lap. We've completed 8. And we're broadcasting live from SpeedZone TV for the Bud Shootout tonight for the Racers Elite.
It looks like they're starting to go 3 wide here, going into turn. I was never good at that.
Turn 3 and
What?
4.
Turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's Man putting Campbell to the outside, and Campbell's going to shuffle in behind the 4 car. I don't know if he's too pleased with that as he tries to look and go 3 wide as well.
Well, a lot of these drivers, I hope, can just remember that this is a marathon race. This is not a sprint. So even if you end up shuffling back, you have a lot of chances to regain those positions.
Take a look at this 71 machine, John Ashby. Looks like a Dale Earnhardt kind of tribute car. Sporting the Wrangler.
Boys.
Yeah, and look at just behind him, the 3 machine of Cybrands. Oh, incorrect. That's actually Thomas is in the 3 machine. Is in the actual Earnhardt throwback. Nice looking car, both of them actually. Take a look back up at our leaders, see what's happening up front. Honeycutt, big push. 2. Oh yeah, number 2 as well.
Say that.
That's a 2 machine of Heinz, the very patriotic car. Big pushes. One of the things
these guys are doing a good job.
Yeah, heck of a good job. One of the things that always scares me, Chris, is like, how close you actually have to be to push and not see. You don't get to see anything.
I agree. It's super tough. Hard to judge the distance sometimes coming into a corner and how well the guy in front of you is going to take that push.
3 wide, a little bit further back. I heard a little scuffling of the wall. On board with the ghost machine of Terry Fennell.
Ghost Energy, that's a pretty cool paint job.
Yeah. Are you a supplement taker, Chris? Do you like the supplements?
I am not actually. I stay away from all the energy drinks, supplements. Yeah.
You probably got one of those tattoos that says "My body is a temple." Something crazy.
Yeah, I do. That's like an Egyptian theme.
Some moving from the top lane, like 8 position back there. Not sure who that was. I think it was Schroeder. It's actually a 33 card of Cybrands. I think we still got a little bit of ways to go with that 75% fuel before we see that pit window. I'm gonna estimate you're gonna see them come in around lap 30-ish. And pit strategy is gonna be key here as to whether you take 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires, and just fill and go.
I know it depends, of course, on the racing, and there's so much to see still, but I'll throw it back to you as far as let's call it just an early strategy. What do you think you would do if this goes green up until the first pit stop? What is your opinion on taking some tires or not, or rights or lefts? What would you do?
I'm typically at a super speedway going to take 2 tires and fuel. I mean, we're not running 100% fuel, so bolting on more tires is likely going to take longer than taking the fuel. So you got to be mindful of that, because being in that main pack of draft like we're seeing on the screen is more paramount than having better rubber.
True. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We'll see how this plays out and what these guys decide to do.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to be watching for that. But one thing I'll say I'm not certain of is I've never ran this Gen 4 machine at a super speedway. Their corner speeds are a lot higher, and there's less grip in this track. As you can see, they're bouncing around everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
So
not.
they're chewing up tires quicker, is what you're getting at?
I'm not sure. I would think so. We're coming up on lap traffic here. We're gonna have to see how these leaders navigate that. Gave you a shot of that 29 machine before with his nose damage. He's holding on and praying for a caution. 2 car gets caught up behind him, and there's
Uh-oh. This
contact
is...
here.
Oh! They might pull through that. It looked
Yeah,
like we had someone just bounce off the wall.
it was, I believe, the 26 machine of Tef swerving up and down the track here.
That
Maybe
was lucky.
very lucky. Maybe
He
just
did a good job of maintaining that. But yeah, that looked like that was a hard bounce and then across the track.
we'll just do a quick SpeedZone TV replay and
Oh,
see if we
I
can
love these
grab it.
SpeedZone TVs. Instant replays.
Buckle up. See what we can see here. All right, so here comes your instant replay of that incident here. I'm gonna go just quickly quarter speed. Honeycutt looks like he touches the wall. The 2 cars behind the lapper, and it looks like Campbell just gets in the back of Teft and knocks him. Teft does a great job of just maintaining car control. 3 machine goes under him. Everyone goes under him. So heavy contact there, but just he's dancing alone. You ever dance solo, Chris?
Oh, I sure have. He was able to just counter steer right out of that to not hit the wall, and then those drivers behind him saw what was happening and just got under him. So yeah, great job. These guys are good.
Back up with your leaders. Sanchez still in the lead, and that 29 machine of Daniels with the damage is staying in the draft here, and likely looking just to shuffle in and maintain that lucky dog position. I don't know how the other drivers are going to take that, but you can see that he's got that heavy nose damage. So I would imagine that you're going to see these guys jump out from behind him if they start to fall too far back from those 4 cars. And we're coming up on another lapper too. Go ahead, Chris.
We were talking, no, I'm sorry. We were talking about pit windows and so forth, and you were guessing maybe lap 30. I just started to notice that these guys are all sort of single filing up.
Yep.
So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. It seems a little early to position for pitting, but they're not double wide anymore. So I don't know if that's just because they're trying to navigate some of this traffic, perhaps.
Maybe everybody's just being a little bit more patient, not wanting to run 2 by 2. And being mindful of their equipment. Keeps bouncing me to the car that is not on the track. And Sanchez has done a good job. I think he's led over the 10 laps now. He's probably got the most laps led.
I'm wondering if these guys are just trying to gain a little composure after seeing that near wreck, and they're just kind of, like you said, maybe just slowing themselves down a bit and just kind of riding single file for a few laps to just kind of get back at it.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like we got 8 cars, the top 8 here. The last one being Kirby Wainscott within 1 second of the leaders. And then we have a second pack of cars here about 6 seconds back. And the leader of that pack is Neal, followed by Puffenbarger and Yost and Campbell's in that one, and Schroeder and Fennell and Fox and Ashby. So this is that second pack of cars. And it looks like they're just hunkering down, trying to gain pace.
Now, we saw some cars banging around earlier. I don't know if your race controls will show it. Has anyone come into the pit yet? Did anyone need to take any repairs for anything? Or if these guys just sort of got back on track and they're racing again?
There was that one car we looked at, the 6 machine of Woodward. We'll pop over to him. He's actually showing out. So he went into the pits, but he's no longer on the track. And Zimmerman has also gone into the pits, and he's retired from the race. So we've got some guys retiring from the race already. And, we're now over 25% of the way through. We're about to complete lap 22, Chris. So these laps are ticking down, and we've seen some great racing, respectful racing so far. One thing that the viewers may not be aware of is that 34 machine of Honeycutt was the victim of blown motors in the Xfinity race. He was pushing the dickens out of the cars in front of him, and I guess he got a little too hot and popped his motor. So I'm wondering if he's going to just be aware of his temps tonight, because you can see him sucked right back up on that 2 car of Hines. A little bump there shot him up the track.
He's been given some good pushes a lot, into this race. And
take a look at his cockpit. See how close he is, Chris. Cockpit view of Honeycutt.
These are always such great images to watch. I love the cockpit view.
He's got a lot of, you see how much he's dancing that wheel around as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'm a fan of Legacy Daytona here in the Gen 4.
Yeah, it takes a lot of nerve, I think, to get into those turns full throttle with not a lot of vision.
Yeah.
So these guys are really working. They're going to be tired after 80 laps, I can tell you that.
Sweating.
Yeah.
So just for awareness, too, is that this lead pack of cars I talked about all the way back to Wayne Scott in 8th, they're turning 45.5-second laps. And that second pack of cars is turning 46.2, so about 6 to 7 tenths slower. So this lead pack of cars is doing a good job of just staying fast and staying, ahead of that second groove. And they might be separating themselves for a long-term strategy of getting ahead and staying ahead.
Yeah, because they're actually pulling away, so they're leaving to just set themselves up to be in good position later on.
On board with Wayne Scott, you can see what he sees. There's not too much real estate for your eyes to really navigate what's going on.
This is such a cool view too for viewers that have like family members that watch their family friends that don't get an idea what it's like to be in these cars and race. Like you said, the real estate. What can you actually see around you, and it's a lot. That's really super cool.
And one thing you might be noticing now, Chris, is as like Wayne Scott's entering the corner, you can see his wheel input, and then you can see the nose of his car just slightly chatter up the track. So, we were talking about tire strategy earlier. I'm almost leaning towards you're definitely wanting rights or maybe bolting on all 4, because you can see the wheel input and just chattering.
I get it completely. Yeah, that's very analytical. Right. He's turning that car, but it's not turning with him.
Yep. Big lift there from Wayne Scott to let the 4 machine of Kane in line. And yeah, they're all burping the throttle going in on entry.
And here we are too, looking at the lap counter. We're on lap 27. So you guesstimated about lap 30. So these guys probably know they got to make their way down the track and start preparing for their pit entry for fuel, and as we just talked about, probably tires for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And these green flag or green pit stops, green flag pit stops are always interesting.
Yeah, yep. Especially if your tires are worn and you don't have warm brakes either, right? Like this isn't Chicagoland or Texas where you got to drag a little bit of brake. You're at a super speedway where you're basically on the throttle 100% of the time, or just burping a little bit to stop like an aggressive push. So For me as a strategy, Chris, what I do is I like to just drag a little bit of the brake the lap or two before, just so that, you know, peace of mind's there. Are these brakes gonna grab appropriately?
That's a good strategy. I'll have to use that.
Yeah, you should get a notepad out tonight, Chris. We're dropping all
I
the
think so.
knowledge.
Yeah, it's a good thing this is live streamed. I can go back and take all my notes.
No, I'm deleting it. You're gonna get too fast,
Oh
buddy.
no.
So Sanchez has still been out leading for, I would say, you know, 19 laps or more. And you got the two machine of Hines on the outside of him in that patriotic mobile with Honeycutt pushing him in the 34 car, and the 04 machine of Mark Mann behind our leader Sanchez with the 33 car, the Yeti. Do you own a Yeti, Chris?
I do actually.
You would.
I know I would, right? I look at my my body as a temple tattoo while sipping my coffee out of my Yeti.
Ooh, Teff has a hard time on the high side as they pass him. Gets into the wall a little bit. But Cybrands here has done a good job in on P3 on the bottom side, currently in 5th position with that 32 car behind him. I think that would be Thomas. Oh, Thomas. Oh, that must be a lap car. My apologies. The 32 machine is Holloman, so he's a lap down.
32 is a lap down?
Yep. He's showing in 17th on the grid here. Honeycutt up to the high side all alone. It looks like the 2 machine, we were talking about who the heck that was, and the 2 car is our new leader, Stephen Hines, with Sanchez giving them a little knock on the bumper saying, hey, I've been up here for how long, and you're stealing my lead.
Now, is the 34 really the 34? Is that the one that has the different number?
Correct. So the 34 car is Honeycutt.
He is probably looking for a gap to get down is what I'm guessing.
Yep. We're at lap 32 now, right? So I would expect that pit window to just open up any time.
He may have to sacrifice a few positions here instead of just sitting up there.
Well,
I don't know if they're going to give him a gap.
Yeah, once they tuck down. Oh, there we go. We got some the 05 machine pitting in. Let's see if we can click them. Oh, onto the grass for the 05.
05 looked like he was charging hard into the pit entry.
Yeah, that's not good. I lost him there. Let's go back. I don't know if he's going to be assessed a black flag if he made it in before the cone. I think he made it in before the cone and then shot out. I can't see him with that camera angle. Medic.
Right.
Just see, we got the left side up.
He maybe made it in inside of the cone, but he could have been moving too quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm not showing from race control that we have a black flag on him, so.
I didn't see him come out of the pit, though. Didn't 3 of them come in?
Yep, he just came out.
Okay.
This is the other pack of cars just coming into the pit now. Hines.
Well, so far so good with these guys.
Yep, and they're going to have to come in for a splash, right? So they're coming in lap 33, lap 34. Next relative pit stop's going to be around lap 68-ish, right? So you're going to have a 12-lap shootout if this thing stays green. Hines does a great job of getting out of the pits.
Yeah, I'm impressed. These guys have done a good job of getting in the pit and then exiting. So far, I don't believe we've had any incidents.
So we got the 04 machine coming up behind him. Mark Mann and Cybrands were the ones they were contending with. So we'll keep it on this camera view, and you can just see them coming out of the top left-hand side down that backstretch. these guys are going to want to get up to speed as quickly as possible so that they all can maintain that draft. And it looks like we're going to end up with like a 6 to 8 pack of cars here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. They'll go by for now, but we're going to have to see how it shuffles out. The other pack of cars is coming in the pits now. Ooh, heavy damage on Campbell's machine. That's a violent picture. Sorry for showing you guys that at home.
All right. That's the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah. All right, so now our new leader is Mark Mann. We've had a lot of camera time for him already. And I believe that's Wayne Scott that's in front of him. Wait for these cars to shuffle around. Let the racing relative catch up. Cybrands is behind him in that Yeti mobile. They're catching up to the 05 of Sanchez and Honeycutt. Good job of getting in line here. And once we get a few more laps under us here, we're going to see how the field settles out. But I'm showing 5 cars within 2 seconds, which is Mark Mann's our leader in the 04 machine. Keeps jumping around.
How many cars are off of the lead lap, or is it too tough to tell yet?
I just needed to roll the counter back one more time. Show me. It looks like we have Rick Sanchez. Looks like he went a lap down. Thought he was up front there. So when we saw him go into the pits, I'm just looking through race control reports here. He might have got a hold penalty. Yes, he did. He got a hold penalty and lost time. So Rick Sanchez, oh, my apologies. I am incorrect. Rick Sanchez is now are going to be our new leader. Takes this race counter a second to catch up with everything.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Sometimes you need to get a lap or two to get a true update of what's going on track.
Actually, I am now correct. I was looking at Rick Cybrand's name. So Mark Mann in the 4 machine is the leader. Honeycutt is also battling for a lap down. So the 05 and 34 car are actually holding up the lead pack of cars.
Interesting.
So these
back to my original question, we have 2 cars out of the field that are not on the lead lap then, is that correct?
We have more than 2. So Sanchez and Holloman are technically on the lead lap because they're ahead of the leaders, but they're the first ones that are going to go a lap down in a second.
Okay.
We have Holloman, who's also in this pack of cars. That's the 32 machine in the Great Clips car. He's a lap down, but he's running with the lead pack of cars. And then we also have the 3 machine, who is a lap down as well. But the counter isn't showing them a full lap down because of the pace that they're setting. So it looks like from this relative, we only have 11 cars on the lead lap.
And that was roughly half or so.
Correct. Yeah, we had 22 cars start the field. So you're correct. Half is on the lead lap and half is not. And the lead pack set of cars. So in first place, we have Mann. Second place, we have the 2 machine of Hines. Third place, we have the 33 machine of Cybrands. Fourth is Wayne Scott. And fifth is Kane in the 4 car. The second... yeah, go ahead, Chris.
And we are halfway through.
Oh, it's official. Ring,
it's
ring,
official.
ring, ring, ring. And that 29 car, Daniels, is also a lap down. I was actually 2 laps down. Not sure why. It must be something to do with the legacy track that's not updating my numbers correctly. Ooh, Honeycutt gets a little bump from the 2 machine of Hines and gets a little squirrely as they're going down the backstretch. Still lots of racing left, Chris.
Yeah, I was just looking, and you can tell too that it's starting to get dark, so that will change some of the racing factors as we progress through the second half.
Just to give a relative here, you can see the pack of cars we're on is entering into turn 1. The second pack of cars is actually coming out of turn 3, coming down the front stretch right now, and is about to cross the line on that track map. So there's about a half track between the lead pack of cars and the second pack of cars. And by looking at lap times, for everyone's awareness, we can just pull something up here just to show you guys. Is the lead pack of cars here they're turning 45.6 second laps. I'll pop over to the second pack of cars. Looks like we had a little contact there, a little bit further up. These guys are 46.8, so they haven't formed up quite the draft to knock down time. So unfortunately, if there's no more cautions, these guys are out of the show.
Very helpful with all your data, all your graphics.
Thank
Very
you.
helpful for the viewer.
Heck yeah. And that's why we're bringing the action from SpeedZone TV. We want to make sure our viewers at home are getting the information that they need so that they can watch a race, know what's going on. Even if I can't figure it out, we can figure it out together, right? Like, what's going on?
I think so.
So Honeycutt and Sanchez are still holding pace on those lead cars and just mucking up the draft, waiting and hoping for a caution to come out. And the benefit for them is that if the caution does come out, they don't have to contend or fight for the lucky dog. They just get waved around the pace car, and that would put that 32 machine of Holloman in the hot seat for the lucky dog position.
Do you know they advertised any green-white checkers in this race? I would
Yep.
imagine there would be at least one, correct?
Yep, there's actually 3 green-white checkered attempts. I'm hoping we don't have to use any of them, but, it's super speedway racing, so, you got to pull your belts tight, and sometimes your helmet's on a little too tight, and you're not making the best decisions when it's coming down to settling up and trying to take the race. Everyone wants to win at a super speedway.
I would imagine these guys have been racing hard. They've been racing well, and as they progress too, I'm thinking we might start to see a little bit of a fatigue, maybe perhaps even maybe not the best decision making. So, especially as we kind of like close in. So, I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. But they've been doing real well so far.
Yeah, I agree completely, Chris. And like these top 5, they don't have to fight each other, right? They're locked in to a top 5 finish right now if the race was just to finish the way it was and they go through the next pit cycle. So, I'm surprised personally as that they're running, like the 2 machine is running on the outside with a lap car Honeycutt in front of them and then a lap car behind them of Daniels in that 29 machine. Like there's no benefit to him.
They've also increased the gap, it looks like, in between themselves. So I think maybe they just want to settle in for a few laps and just maybe dial back some of the fuel usage and count down some laps perhaps.
Yeah, well, they're about almost a second faster than that second pack of cars. So, the longer this race goes, the more gap they're going to get. So they're about 26 seconds ahead of that second pack of cars. The third pack is at 33 seconds. And the fourth pack, well, that's the lap cars that are with the leaders right now. That 05, 34 machine, 29, 32.
So
So,
it's really just going to pay off for them to just get these laps under their belt.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we're coming to complete lap 47. On to 48 right now of 80 laps. And, this is the big Bud Shootout for the Racers Elite. Tonight it's a special event for them. There's some prizes on the line. There's bragging rights. So I'm expecting a great finish and really not too long of a time. Honeycutt's trying to shuffle down to the bottom there and gets tight to Sanchez. Hines is just trying to push him. I don't know if Hines wants a lead or what he's trying to do exactly. On board with the 4 machine here, just a little bit further back. Kane is the last lead car in this pack of, it looks to be about what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 cars?
Kane is the number 4.
Yep, Kane is the number 4 machine. And he's just hanging back a little bit, right? So you can see just he's got a good view of what's going on in front of him. I think it's very strategic that, if something does happen, he has time to react. And he's not out of the draft.
I was going to say just the same thing as you. It looks like as long as he's still with the pack and can hold on to that draft, it looks like he's got a good strategy. Is just keeping a marginally safe distance. So if those guys get loose, he can save himself through it.
Yeah, and you can see just on his cockpit, he's not driving in the corner too hard. He's not fighting it. And with these Gen 4 cars and the horsepower package that they have, you can see that he has no issue of just sucking back up. And you can hear him feathering the throttle if you listen closely. Just take a second here to acknowledge some of the sponsors for the Racers Elite League. In the bottom left-hand side of the screen there, you see the admin box popping off. Switched over to the GTR sim racing rigs. I'm sitting in a GTR rig right now, actually. You use that promo code to get over there. KS Designs is also another sponsor. Moza Racing, so there's another QR code if you're in the market for a wheel or pedals. Moza makes some great products as far as entry-level stuff to high-end pro stuff, and AMR Paintworks. So if you need a paint to get done, contact AMR. Yeah, very
Shout
strict.
out to AMR if they've done some of these paint jobs for these guys. They look really cool.
Yeah, they're pretty stellar. Yeah, you can see how, now if we've watched a couple laps, you can see how Kane on the entry of the corner, he's slowing down sooner, but he's gaining time on entry because he's not having to fight as hard as they are. So we'll just let the viewers at home watch this here. Now we're going to move up a couple cars now, and I'll give you the same thing. Oh, we just had the 04 car come down the pits with Sanchez. Yeah, I mean, it's a strategy.
I believe you guesstimated
68
into the 60s for sure. Yeah, so I wonder, these guys just trying something different.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do. It's also very critical, Chris. 2 cars, Sanchez and Mann. Remember, Sanchez is a lap down. Mann was leading. 2 cars can't form a strong enough draft to maintain pace. So I think it's a very risky move.
I would think so too. I don't know what's on their mind, but we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even speculate right now how that might be advantageous, but you just don't know. We still have a lot of laps to go.
And now this lead pack of cars is coming up. So it looks like Mann and Sanchez just took fuel. I think they're with the 33 machine of Cybans as well. And let's just hop on board with this old machine. So you can see the 3 cars here. Mann, Cybans, and Sanchez. They're still on their outlap, so once they get around one more time, we'll see what kind of times they're ticking. But the leaders are at still 45.6s.
Now, is 3 cars enough to be competitive?
I don't. I mean, 4 is ideal.
Okay.
5 is optimal. You need to be very good pushers and not break formation with 4 cars, and 3 cars is equally as challenging. It could be done.
So these guys are going to have their work cut out for them.
100%. So right now, these guys have turned to 46.9, and our leaders will switch over to them. 10 machine is showing a 45.5. So 46.9 to 45, right? So was that second and a bit?
Yes.
So you're gonna see, you can see on the relative screen there. We'll change camera angles, get a little bit further out. Move up to the lead car of Hines.
These guys are all going single file at the moment too, so I don't know if they're seems a little early for fuel, but maybe they're just trying to get in a little rhythm, maybe get comfortable, knowing that it's coming.
Well, you got to remember too, right? The 34 machines of Honeycutt is a lap down. The 29 of Daniels is a lap down. The car behind Hines in the 32 is a lap down. The 3 car behind the 29 is also a lap down.
Mm.
And they're about to catch Mann and Cybans, which puts them in contention with the 39, or sorry, the 34, the 32 car, and the 3 car, who are all lap down. So that there's going to be a big battle for the lucky dog position if there is a caution to come out.
And a touch on that again here, we're almost to lap 60, and these guys have done really, really well. We've seen a couple incidents on track that the drivers were able to recover from, but it's been really good racing.
Yep, very clean racing, a lot of clean pushing. We've seen some good pit stops already. Like, super speedway racing is not really indicative of seeing green flag pit stops, and these guys made it happen. So they're in it for the long haul, and you mentioned that earlier, Chris, about being patient, letting the race come to them, and that's exactly what we're seeing tonight. Ticking them down, lap 58 complete on lap 59, so just over 30 laps to go. The lead pack cars still have 1 pit stop to go, so your current leader is Stephen Hines. Your second place car is Wayne Scott in that 10 machine in his GoDaddy Chevy. The third place car is Dennis Kane in the Mobile 1. The fourth place car, 37 seconds back from that lead pack of 3, is Schroeder in the Jets car. Then one after that is the 83 machine, the 83 Dodge of Yoist. And then after that in P6 is Campbell in his Menards with heavy nose damage, still making it work. And then after that is actually not the 82 car, but Mark Mann and Cybans in the 33. And then after that, we're back up to our leaders with that 34 machine, Honeycutt, just being in front of that 2 car who is actually our leader. So they're about to run out of time for that lucky dog position, because it's going to be the biggest battle right now, Chris, is actually going to be the battle for the lucky dog.
I was listening to you go through all of those top cars, the 5 or 6 cars, and it's interesting how they're all sprinkled throughout different packs at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because we know that the top 6 have to make another pit stop. I don't believe the 04 of Mann and the 33 of Cybrands has to make a pit. So you just see,
there they go.
Well, this is contact. 2 machine makes it through. Honeycutt not happy from the contact from Daniels, gets shoved off, and that's Wainscott, the bottom behind him.
Again, though, good driving, saved it, made it through, made it inside the cone, and recovered through the grass. So kudos to that.
Watch, see what happens with Wainscott here. What's his strategy? It's like he took right tires, and he's gone. Hind is all out by himself here. And here comes, we're going to turn to the rear chase cam for Hind. And you can see Andrew Teff and Truth Hoke coming up. We haven't been talking about either one of those. They're almost 2 laps down, I believe. And now Schroeder and Yost are on the lead lap, passing for the lead. Campbell as well. 82 cars a lap down. But those guys are still going to have to pit. So just keep that in mind. Even though they got the lead, there's still one more pit cycle for those 3. And then just a little bit
for America.
And then behind him here is Mark Mann and Cyban. So you remember, Chris, these guys pitted about 10 laps ago. That's 04 and 33 machine with Sanchez in the 05 are dancing with the 2 car of Hines, who's actually the first car out most recently with a pit stop. Whereas Mann in the 04 and 33 Cybans pitted 10 laps ago. So I don't know if tire strategy is going to be a thing here. But, if Sanchez is teammates with Cybrands or Mann, Hines doesn't really have a dance partner unless they're his teammates. And, at the Racers Elite here, Bud Shootout, as these laps are winding down, I don't know if teammates are a thing,
Depends on what the prizes are.
Right? It's a night with me and you, Chris. I think all bets are off.
Yeah, it's good enough for me, but yeah, I hear you.
So right now, our new leader is showing as the 48 machine of Schroeder with bouncing around for me again. They just pit? They must have just pit.
Or the ticker, the tower maybe needs to reset. I'm wondering, since a couple of them came in.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that, like after a lap or so, if we can see a true positioning for all these guys.
We must have missed a pit cycle, because what no. Just thinking about it, they were about 40 seconds behind that lead pack. So it's interesting, right? Because Hines has dropped back in behind them to catch them. You see the 2 car there. He was our leader that most recently pit. And if you look on the screen here, let me cycle back to them with Schroeder and Campbell. In the bottom right-hand side, you could see the last that they pit was lap 35. Whereas Sybans is showing 53 with Sanchez at 52 and Hines at 62. So these guys, even though they're in the hot seat, being in third and fourth, they do not have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way.
They'll be hoping for something.
So that's going to make Mark Mann our leader. And he's been up front all night. He's probably one of the cars with a lot of camera time. Cybrands, he started a little bit further back and has now kind of wiggled his way up front in that Yeti mobile. Sanchez, he's unfortunately a lap down, but led the first, 20 of the 30 laps at the start of the race. Suffered unfortunate pit struggles. Schroeder is in P3, still looking to pit. So, by my estimate, Chris, I'm thinking you're going to see them probably come in with the next few laps or so. And then also Hines was our previous leader, who's making the move on Campbell. Who's got that damage. And rounding out the back of that is the 55 machine of Truth Hoke. Great performance at Talladega. He's just not having the luck tonight. Maybe it's a setup issue with that car. Maybe you just need a little bit more seat time to get that thing dialed in.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, maybe some of these guys just didn't put in enough practice time here at the old track. You're used to just doing the current track. I'm sorry, and then you think you're good to go, and then you get in the race and you forget how bouncy it is.
Just saw Schroeder and Campbell come in the pits. Take a look see what their strategy is here. Slides it nicely into the box. Looks like fuel only. Campbell. Schroeder's gone. Campbell must be doing a different strategy here. You can see the left side of the car go up. And that's going to be the difference maker here. Right, Chris? You're going to take tires. And now you're seeing it live on SpeedZone TV where a different strategy is not going to put you in the draft.
Yeah, I think you touched on that earlier. I'm not sure the tires is going to pay off with having no one around you at lap 70.
Ooh. Sanchez rubs a wall there on the entrance of turn 1, knocking him further back, and Hines is on the attack in P3. He wants to shuffle up. There's 10 laps to go. It's go time, Chris.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you here, we're at lap 70, and the leaders have enough fuel to finish, if I'm not mistaken. So what are these guys... What's their mindset right now? What do you think? Is it too early still to try and position? Do you let some laps count down still? What do you do if you're in their shoes?
I think since it's really you're looking at 3 cars battling out for the win right now, is that I would personally want to get ahead of that lap car of Daniels if I'm Hines. But if I'm Mann sitting in P2 behind the 33 machine of Cybrands, I'm content sitting there because I much prefer to make a move than to be made a move on at a super speedway. I guess that's how you could say my dating went, right? I was always waiting for the girl, and never was lucky, but here I am.
Yeah, you've told me some stories.
And this might be a factor too now, Chris, is where tires pay off a little bit. But you can hear Hines feathering the throttle extremely.
I was trying to pay attention to the steering inputs as well, going through some of these turns. Oh, it looked like someone was off.
I'm going to have to apologize to the viewers at home. I had a technical issue with the iRacing audio It looks like you didn't have car sounds for 70 laps, and I do apologize for that. Got that sorted out now. So hopefully,
well, it's a good thing they had us.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Hopefully that you and I were colorful enough to keep them entertained. But next time, you know, I'll be sure to be watching the chat on SpeedZone TV YouTube. So, you know, if a viewer at home is experiencing anything, I'll be mindful of that and get it sorted out. So apologize to those at home, because, you know, we were looking at the in-car and talking about how it was, you know, how drivers were feathering throttle and stuff like that. You know, you weren't getting the full experience that you paid for.
Well, what's important is they have it now for the last 7 laps, so hopefully we can give them a good show. Hopefully these drivers can give them a good show, and we can talk all about it.
Heck yeah, brother. And Daniels is mounting up the outside lane, and look at the outside lane for him. There's 5 cars on the outside lane. Somebody tagged the wall. I think it's a 55 machine of Truth Hoke. So you got 29 of Daniels, lap down. Hines, a 2 car, who's battling for the lead. And in behind him is the 05 of Sanchez, and in behind him is the 48 car of Schroeder, who's also a lap down. So that 33 machine of Sybans is in the hot seat. And just as you call it, Chris, look at it. It's getting dark out, looking pretty. Hold my hand, buddy. Hold my hand. It's a beautiful night.
Could be a little scary. We'll see. We got 5 to go.
Two car tags the wall, sparks fly off, and you know, not the kind of fireworks that you want to see at nighttime at Daytona Speedway in your Budweiser Shootout or at Racers Elite here. Ticking down, ticking down. Across the line.
We'll have 4 to go here, and I'm sure it's on their mind. I'm sure positioning is starting to come into play, where they want to put their car. Somebody turn on the lights.
Right? Getting dark. Let's just look at the rear chase cam of Cybrands here. Doing a great job of holding that thing down bottom of the yellow line in the Yeti Coolers 33 machine. And we're ticking them down.
Do an in-car real quick. Let's see what the drivers see as far as the lighting.
All right, let's go on board just behind him here. We're on the 04 car of Mans.
This adds another level of difficulty for these guys that have done almost 80 laps here now.
Yeah, and you can see the lights are on and how it's reflecting, right? So looks like we missed some contact. Hines is off the pace. He's a second back. Playing around with the cameras, Chris, and looks like Hines is going to be out of contention. It's going to be between Cybrands and Mann unless a caution comes out. Cars look beautiful under the lights, making me want to get a Yeti cooler.
Yeah, I'll come over and make you a cup of coffee.
Heck yeah.
AMR Paint World, thanks to them for some of these paint jobs, I assume.
So we're winding down. We're going to have 2 laps to go when we cross the line here for the Budweiser Shootout Racers Elite special event brought to you by SpeedZone TV tonight. And it's just one more lap, Chris. This is the lap here. If this goes green, the race is official. So we're
No
gonna,
matter what happens, this has been an exciting race. These guys have done great.
yeah, and I love seeing green flag pit stops on a super speedway. I wonder what kind of move when if Man's gonna make a move. Is Sanchez gonna follow him?
We're going into 4 here, correct?
Yep, they're going through the dog leg now. As soon as it crosses the line, here it is. Whoop. Race is official. All right.
Exciting.
Keep your eyes peeled, Chris. Into turn 1. Man looks to move up a half groove. Sanchez is kind of in his mirror following him. Cybrand's doing a great job of just keeping that thing painted on the line. Big push down the backstretch into 3. He is on him hard. No room. Man. Going high. Half car high cuts. Gonna run out of time here. And Cybrands is gonna be your victor tonight. Followed by Mark Mann in the 04 machine. Hines will be your P3 finisher. Up front all night. Wayne Scott coming across the line now is P4. Kane is P5. Sanchez, who you saw with the lead pack cars, is P6. 83 machine here in the grass, just hanging out, is Yost in P8. Schroeder P9, and Puffenbarger P10. He's not on the track, so put our camera up front here. He's gonna.
Congratulations to all of these guys. Congratulations to these drivers. It was clean race.
Heck of
Everyone,
a clean
even
race.
in last lap too. No one, no banging around on the last lap, and yeah, it was exciting to watch.
Yes, it was. Heck of a great race with everyone tonight.
He's earned those donuts.
Watching him burn it down here. So hats off to Rick Cybrands for the Budweiser Shootout tonight at Racers Elite, brought to you by SpeedZone TV. We had a lot of great action, Chris. What are any final thoughts on it?
Final thoughts, as I just said, these guys were great. I don't know. I assume all of them raced together in other races. I know this was a one-off. But looks like it's a great league. A lot of respect on track. These guys, they were clean through and through, even through the finish. And yeah, hats off to the league as well. So yeah, it was a good race. Good to be here and good to call this one.
Heck yeah, I couldn't agree with your sentiments more. And just seeing Cybrands just burn them down. Just give a few minutes here for drivers to pop up to see if we'll be doing some interviews tonight. Fortunately, it looks like Cybrands just popped his motor.
He was smart to do his donuts right in front of the safety car there.
Exactly. Just maybe pop back for a second and we'll take a look at the last laps winding down. So just an instant replay from SpeedZone TV here. Just on board with Cybrands. Just ticking away.
He was able to hold it just enough on the inside to just make it a little too difficult to just get around him on the inside, and I just don't think he had the momentum to do it up top.
Yeah, I don't know if in the 04's position, if he was willing to risk it all to see if somebody was going to join him or not, or if he was just content. Maybe it was a teammate shakedown where they just wanted to finish 1-2.
Questions for the interview.
All right. Well,
While we're waiting, I'm curious, do you know when they updated, this is what, the '08 configuration of Daytona, is that correct?
correct. Yeah.
When did they change that? Do you know? If you
Off
had to
the
guesstimate?
off the top of my head, no, I don't. But I know that this Gen 4 car was came out about what 6 or 8 months ago, and iRacing actually made a blip to um, kind of they've released it, but they weren't necessarily supposed to release it, and then the entire community loved it because it is just such a powerful car. Just has great speed. So just looking down, I'm not seeing anybody that's popping up in the waiting room just right now. So maybe Chris will be signing off in just a minute here.
Okay, we can give them another minute or so. These cars look so pretty under the lights, don't they, in slow motion?
Yeah, they do. Great reflection. So just to recap a little bit of the race again. So tonight, SpeedZone TV brought to you the Racers Elite special event for the Budweiser Shootout in the Gen 4 car at Daytona Speedway. We saw 80 laps of great action. No cautions, green flag stops, a lot of great racing. Cameras focused on Rick Sybrands right now was your winner chicken dinner with Mark Mann in that 04 machine in the Wrangler, finishing P2, sorry, and then the 2 car of Stephen Hines, not in the shot, finishing P3. Drivers did a great job all the way up until the end and putting on a show for you guys at home.
Yes, congratulations, drivers. You put on a great show.
All right, Chris. I think we'll be signing off, and say goodbye to our friends first, Chris.
I'll do that. Goodbye, friends. Thank you for having me in William Ridgway's absence tonight. Robert, good to be here tonight. You and William have been doing a great job with these broadcasts, very analytical. And yeah, I've been enjoying watching them. Hope it was at least entertaining on my in my sit-in. And then yeah, hope everyone that was here viewing tonight enjoyed the race. And look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Heck yeah. Thank you for the compliments, Chris, and glad you could join us up in the booth. So I'm Robert Warrens. That was Chris Schusler. We are SpeedZone TV tonight, bringing you all the action from Racers Elite Budweiser Shootout. You saw great 80-lap racing at Daytona Speedway with Rick Sybrands taking home the cheese. And be sure, once you're going through, to take a note of the sponsors on the left-hand side there. So you saw GTR, Moza, AMR Paintworks, KS Designs, and great racing tonight. So throw a like on the stream. Make sure you subscribe for some more great action. And hats off to these racers tonight, putting on a heck of a show. So thank you for tuning in, everyone, and have a great night.